I can't believe it. I was wrong. I was expecting DOT to dump like crazy, given that $26 million worth of DOT had been distributed from the Treasury to people's wallets to be able to sell in order to deliver the proposals for which they had been paid for. But it looks like the market has held pretty well. Now, I'm not sure if everyone who received that DOT has actually dumped. I haven't done any analysis. I haven't checked to see if those DOT had actually moved to any exchange wallets. But it looks like nothing major has actually happened. And it goes back to reflect the last situation, you know, when we had that major unlock from the crowd loans and not that much DOT had been sold. You know, a lot of that had been staked. And in fact, a whale had actually staked a lot of DOT recently. So, you know, that was promoted quite heavily on X. So if we look at when the distribution had happened from the Treasury to people's wallets, it wasn't even dumped at all. Like the only little dump that we see here was on the 19th of April at 4 a.m. Just a little wick down, you know? So it looks like the market had absorbed it pretty well, even if maybe not everything had been dumped, but even if most of it was pretty well absorbed, and it's nothing out of the ordinary, right? It's like this is the support area, this is the support area, and this is the support area. So it held pretty well, and in fact, it continued to move on the same trajectory as it had initially planned to move, right? So yeah, nothing major happened there with that unlock. We're still in the downtrend, but we're going upwards, as you can see here. At least that's the price trend. However, we started to lose a bit of a momentum here. So I'm expecting it to maybe touch maybe the 740 area before dumping below if it does go higher. You know, if not, then it's probably just going to go back down again, maybe to this area around 680 to 670. But yeah, the altcoin market isn't doing too great today. Again, it is Sunday as well. So on Sundays, things are different, you know, but during the week, we may see some momentum. Although, like I said, it's not looking pretty because the 100-day moving average here is still above and we are still trading below it. The transfer didn't have a big impact, which is good to see because less than 4 days into the next spend period, as you can see, 725k DOT had been approved to be spent, which are going to get transferred to people's wallets in 20 days. And maybe we could even expect to see 30 million being spent just this spending period alone. So yeah, the Treasury is getting spent like crazy, but the market is not reacting in a negative way, which is good to see, especially for DOT holders who are believers. So at least we got that confirmation and we can be more calm when it comes to this high Treasury spending. Despite us not liking it, you know, at least the market is not dumping from it, you know. So it's something good to see. As you can see, like DOT had dumped with the rest of the market. So if it's going to go back up, it's going to go back up with the rest of the market. Now, the difference being is that DOT doesn't usually perform as well as the other altcoins whenever they do perform, you know. So when the market's bullish, DOT may go to like we've seen here, 1180, but then Solana might go to 200 and it might do a 2x. Whereas Polkadot was like $8 and then it went to 1180. So it's not able to give us that 2x. We're not seeing $16. We're not seeing $17. We're not seeing anything crazy because there's not enough demand to push it, right? There's not enough market maker support like we've seen with Solana, like we've seen with Injective, although Injective is doing pretty bad now as well. But to talk about the Bitcoin halving, because this was the major event that happened 2 days ago, nothing major happened during the halving event. And in fact, in 2020, the market dumped straight after the halving event. So here, when we had it, as you can see, the market did dump a bit. It didn't go down that much, in fact, you know, just had 1 week down here because it touched the 50-day moving average, just about, and it went back up. So now it looks like it wants to go higher again. It could be that it might go back down and just be rejected here on this moving average, although this smoothed moving average doesn't really reflect the day chart or the 1 hour chart. It's more for the 5-minute chart. You know, it works really well if you're trading on the 5-minute chart when you have these smoothed moving averages with this specific trading strategy. But on the day chart, it doesn't seem to be reacting so well. More so on the bounces, right? Like if it was to like drop and touch a specific moving average, it might bounce off it, like you've seen here. It got really close and then it bounced. It got really close and then it bounced. So, you know, it does work well for that. And we haven't yet seen any major correction here where it actually went all the way down to the 100-day moving average here on the day chart. Not for a very long time. So that's very good to see. The last time we've seen that was back here in October 2023. That's when it last happened. So that basically confirmed to us that, yeah, we're moving into the bull market, because on the day chart, we are trending way above the 100-day moving average, way above it. It could be that we're not going to see any major movement for Bitcoin until another 5 or 6 months pass, if history repeats itself. But who knows? It could be that this is a different bull market, because we have seen many things happen that weren't expected, such as the price of Bitcoin dumping like crazy after the ETF was announced, and then it started moving up quite a lot and broke the previous all-time high. Whereas the altcoins just didn't go back to those all-time highs, or not even close to it. At least most of the altcoins didn't. I know Injective did. Solana didn't yet. Solana could though on the next leg up. Like if Bitcoin goes to like 80K now, I'm expecting Solana to probably get to like $250, $260, maybe even higher. So for me, Solana seems to be the one that moves much better with the market compared to other altcoins, even though they do have problems. Again, it's the market makers that are supporting them that are causing this major growth when it comes to the rest of the market growing. So we'll have to see how things go with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes to 100K, that's going to be good for all the altcoins, of course, but we may not see those all-time highs getting revisited. However, we may see Bitcoin at 100K, so that could actually happen, where perhaps Polkadot might get like $20, whereas Solana might put in a new all-time high, near protocol, a new all-time high. Perhaps even Avalanche might put in a new all-time high. Cosmos is probably unlikely to do it. Cosmos is kind of suffering the same fate as Polkadot when it comes to price growth. However, Atom holders did receive a lot of airdrops to make up for the fact that the price hasn't performed so well. So they can't really complain there, right? They got TIA. Then if they staked TIA, they got other airdrops like Dimension, and so on. So it basically accumulates and accumulates. So all those airdrops are getting compounded on top of each other. So yeah, the returns are definitely better as an Atom holder. If you held Atom from 2022, from 2023 in staking, maybe did some cross-chain swaps, maybe voted in governance, to make sure that you qualified for everything and not just staked and forget, then yeah, you likely did pretty well in terms of returns, even though the price is quite stable right now. So yeah, we'll have to see how things go, but ultimately it is Bitcoin that decides the rest of the market. If Bitcoin does well, or at least stabilizes somewhat, and doesn't dump massively, then we should be in a good position for the altcoins perhaps until the summer, and then we'll have to see how things are going to go. So yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah, I was wrong with Polkadot. I did expect a bigger correction, to be fair, given that so much had been transferred. I'm not sure, like I said, if so many people sold, maybe only a few did. Given that the price was so low, perhaps they could afford to wait for the price to do better before selling that DOT. So if we are going to see some wicks down because of those who got a lot of DOT from their proposals, then it's probably going to be temporary, as we've seen here. It doesn't have any major impact, surprisingly. So yeah, we'll just have to see how things go and play out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.